It is a time of change here in the greater West Bloomfield area, specifically in West Bloomfield Township, where a changing of the guard will occur in early January as longtime police chief Michael Patton will retire as of January 10th and immediately be succeeded by our current deputy police chief, Dale Young. His career, Chief Patton, began in West Bloomfield Township back in 1985, May of 1985, in fact, as a patrol officer, later becoming a detective, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and then over the last 10 plus years, almost 15 years at this point, he has been the chief of police as he was named the chief on October 4th, 2010, and has continued to both serve and live in this community alongside his wife, Louise, ever since. A massive crowd gathered at West Bloomfield Town Hall recently as Chief Patton was honored by the West Bloomfield Township Board in anticipation of his impending exit, receiving a dedication from the board. And here is the moment that they provided him with that special recognition for his decades of service to our community.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the West Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees, on behalf of a grateful community, hereby honors the dedication and well-earned retirement of their beloved police chief and wishes him a fulfilling post-retirement, celebrating a rewarding career.
Just take a look at that crowd. An amazing applause for Chief Patton, one of many during that township board meeting. Just the tip of the iceberg. There was nearly 45 minutes of that meeting that you'll see on CivicCenterTV.com's on-demand page, all dedicated to Chief Patton. Now, this is one item on their agenda, but that 45 minutes thereabouts that people were dedicating to the chief was really more about his impact than anything else, with countless numbers of people recounting their memories of how he served our community, but also how they've impacted how he's impacted their lives directly. Here's some of those comments.
It's interesting dynamic to have a chief of police who is beloved, and you are truly beloved by your community, by the men and women who serve under you, and that has been earned.
Chief Patton conducted his duties with professionalism, dedication, and compassion.
I have always felt that I could call him with even the smallest question or the largest issue.
You checking in with me instead of me having to reach out to you, but I know that I was always comfortable to reach out to you. And you always answered. And it didn't matter what time or what day.
He could have very easily answered and said, now what? But instead it was, always a very, very welcoming, it was never, don't you have your own police department? Of course I do. But it was always, how can I help you? What can we do to assist?
Chief Patton opened himself, the police station, and our children up to a community where the police chief showed concern. He showed how he was willing to be a part of diversity. He showed unity. And for my 3 sons who were a part of United We Walk, their friends and the other students that were involved, this meant the world to them.
You don't have to be a detective to know how much people love you in this community and how much you've been to them and how respected you are and how much respect you show them.
Because you do community policing, it really is that. People in the community know you. Kids know you and your officers, and they trust you, and they bring information to you. And because of that, you're such an integral part of our community, and you've built this fabric within our community where law enforcement is so respected as it should be, and kids want to be police officers in West Bloomfield.
I always joke, and you hear me say it, we can all sleep at night because we know you're asleep with one eye open, so we don't have to.
That's just many of the comments made by the public and by the Township Board in recognition of Chief Michael Patton's nearly 15 years serving as chief and countless years beyond that serving in the West Bloomfield Police Department. A lot of those being stories that were recounted from not only his service, but those person-to-person interactions and the way that he made an impact on the community directly from person to person, from organization to organization. Here's a part of a story from Major Bill Burnett of the local Tuskegee Airmen chapter, the Macon Thomas West Bloomfield chapter, in fact, where he is the founder of that chapter, who recounted a moment that Chief Patton helped provide a lifelong memory for some of our kids right here in our community.
In 2013, we chose to take kids from Michigan, but many from West Bloomfield and the Detroit area. But we didn't have the money. It cost $800 per airline ticket and $800 to get in NASA. If any of you ever took any kids to NASA Space Camp, you know it's not cheap, it's very expensive. Chief Patton joined our organization as an honorary member. And since that time he joined, he has been one of our devoted members, and a great member at that, and a great friend at that. Chief Patton asked me when we brought up the conversation about taking the kids to NASA. He said, "How much do you need?" And I told him, ladies and gentlemen, those kids went to NASA. But thanks to that man there, these kids have a lifetime memory. So the one last thing I'm going to say, and sit down. While we were there, they had a contest. There were 163 kids from Argentina, 160 from the United States, and many other countries were there. They had a contest for the kids to design the new patch that the astronauts would wear on their uniform. I'm proud to stand before you this evening and say some of your kids were in that group that drew the new patch that the astronauts are now wearing in outer space. You should give them a round of applause.
Another one of those many rounds of applause for Chief Patton and for so many others that he has touched through his impact over the years in the greater West Bloomfield community. Of course, it wouldn't be a true farewell and recognition if you didn't hear from the man of the hour himself, Chief Patton, addressing the board and addressing the public in his farewell statement at that, his final West Bloomfield Township board meeting as our police chief.
I was always very grateful that my career path led me here to West Bloomfield Township. I'm blessed that a community in which I've served for almost 40 years and lived for almost 33 years. It's a very diverse and welcoming community where the West Bloomfield PD enjoys the confidence and public trust, something that we never take for granted, something we have to earn on every phone call we answer, every traffic stop we make, and every call for service that we respond to. This is where my home is, and this is where my heart is, and it will always be so. To serve others is the highest calling. Service is placing the needs of others ahead of your own. It's never about you, it's about what you do for others. And I think if you remember that every day, that your path will remain true and clear. And that with that, Mr. Warshay, I encourage you to call for the next item on the agenda because we still have a budget that needs to be approved. Thank you, everybody.
That one final round of applause, as always, trying to draw the recognition away from himself and to others. That's just exactly how Chief Patton has always been. His final day will be in early January. He'll then be immediately succeeded by our current Deputy Police Chief, Dale Young, after a much-due recognition from the community recently as he attended his final regular West Bloomfield Township Board meeting as our Chief of Police. You can give him your congratulations through so many social media posts and tagging the West Bloomfield Police Department on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD.